Welcome back, y'all. Ryan Hall here with the weather forecast. Make sure you're buckled in, son, because we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. Everything from an extreme blizzard in California to what we're referring to as storm number 1, which is moving into Kentucky right now. It's going to move on into Virginia and North Carolina later. And then we have to talk about storm number 2 from January 30th to February 3rd. A very dynamic storm is going to try to dump a bunch of snow on areas in the mid-Atlantic and northeast. And then after that, as always, we're going to look at the medium and long range forecast and see what else is out there in the future. We've got a lot of storms to track, so make sure you are subscribed to this channel so you never miss a video. And without further ado, let's just jump into it. Okay, here we go. Big old view of the United States of America. A lot of stuff going on, and like I said briefly, we're going to start off in California because it's insane. Let's zoom in here on the mountains of California between San Jose and Santa Maria. I mean, we've got winter storm warnings, blizzard warnings, avalanche warnings up here. I mean, it's literally insane. Just look at the motion here. You can see there's literally an atmospheric river coming off the Pacific Ocean, across King City, across Interstate 5, and it's just ramming into the mountain up here. They're literally going to get 7 feet of snow here. Blizzard conditions, 7 feet of snow, avalanches, absolutely insanity. Just the craziest thing that's happened this year in this area. Big time weather event. There's some people in this area that are reporting over 100-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So this is definitely a dangerous and unique situation in California. I hope everything goes well and I hope nobody gets hurt, but I am excited to see pictures of 7 feet of snow. But yeah, absolute extreme weather going on in California right now. Maybe that's a precursor to what we're about to experience over here on the East Coast. We'll talk more about the future here in a second, but for now, let's focus on storm number 1. As you can see here, we've got winter weather advisories all the way down through Kentucky into Virginia, West Virginia, and North Carolina, all the way to the coast. Let's take a closer look at exactly what we're dealing with. St. Louis, you're in Snowtown, baby. Enjoy it while it lasts because it is going to be moving out pretty soon. This is moving into southern Illinois, Mount Vernon, Effingham, and then all that's going to be moving into Evansville, Kentucky, Madisonville, Kentucky. And we've even got a little bit of heavy snow mixing in down here in Tennessee. Looks like Union City, Dyersburg, you guys are going to get a really quick shot of some heavy snow. And this is going to drop 1 or 2 inches all the way over into central Kentucky, where it actually might drop a little bit more. But yeah, on this southern edge down here, if you guys can maintain a little bit of that cold air, you're going to see some very heavy snow with some very large snowflakes falling during this. And of course, that's going to continue moving east. Let's see what's going to happen in the future on the weather models. All right, here's a look at the NAM model. This is where we are right now. As you can see, we've got that snow here in Missouri and Illinois, and a little bit of that heavy snow mixing in down here in Arkansas and very western Tennessee. This is going to move off to the east here. Let's go on to 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m. Now we've got heavy snow in Paducah, Kentucky, and Bowling Green, Evansville, Indiana. This is moving east towards Louisville. That rain snow line's really hugging the border of Kentucky and Tennessee there, but there is a little bit of this backside that's going to try to stay snow. It's not where the most accumulation is going to fall, but it's where the heaviest snow is going to fall. So Nashville, you might see a very brief period where some really big snowflakes are falling. And then as we put that into motion, it moves into central Kentucky. Lexington's getting snow now. Now it's moving into Virginia, West Virginia, and North Carolina. The Interstate 64 corridor here is going to be having some travel issues, as well as the Mountain Parkway from Lexington to Prestonsburg. And then we've got heavy snow down here in the mountains. And watch what happens as I push this forward. You see there's a little bit of cold air advection here, and that rain snow line starts moving south into North Carolina. There's also some dynamic cooling that's happened here, and that's really going to progress this snow all the way as far south as Jacksonville, North Carolina. Here we are at 5 a.m. on Thursday, and we're still dealing with snow all the way out in Wilmington, and it's heavy. And then it kind of fades out and it's out of here completely by 12 p.m. tomorrow. So let's watch that whole storm progress again. Here it comes, and there it goes. How much snow we gonna get? This is the NAM model snowfall output. I like the way this is looking. This looks pretty realistic. It actually might be overdoing it a little bit over here, but for Virginia and North Carolina, I think this is pretty accurate for you guys. This is showing southeastern Missouri is going to get anywhere from 3 to 4 inches, maybe 2 to 4 inches. But as this moves east, it's going to try to intensify and it's going to elongate. That precipitation shield is going to be longer as it moves over here. I think anywhere in southern Illinois, you can see 1 to 2 inches. Southwest Indiana, same thing. But an area from Louisville, Kentucky, all all the way down to Pikeville, Kentucky. That little streak right there, 1 to 3 inches is going to be easy. Maybe in Somerset and Berea here in central Kentucky, you can see closer to 4 inches as that precipitation really kind of elongates and you get under a band of snow a little bit longer than everybody else. And then in Virginia, areas near Roanoke points west, you can see 2 to 4 inches and 6 inches or more in the higher elevations. And then in an area in North Carolina from Asheville to Nags Head, there's a pretty broad swath there where you can see 2 to 4 inches. And then obviously 6 inches or more in the very high elevations. Unfortunately, the real snow doesn't make it as far south as Charlotte, but Wilmington could get a trace of snow. This is going to be very interesting to watch. I do think there's an opportunity for it to overperform down here in Virginia and North Carolina, and the GFS agrees. Check this out. This is the 12Z GFS run, and it's showing a very strong signal for more than 6 inches of snow from Raleigh all the way up to Blacksburg, Virginia. This is not a very powerful storm. It's actually a pretty weak disturbance moving through, so it would definitely have to overperform quite a bit for this to happen. I think surface temperatures are going to keep this from happening. I also think that just the lack of energy in this disturbance is going to keep this from happening. But the GFS says, you know, hey, 10 inches right here, 9 inches right here, why not? I wouldn't be surprised if somebody in this little circle right here got 5 inches of snow or more. All right, now let's talk about storm number 2, okay? This is a big one. This might be the one, guys. Here we are on January 30th. Now, this is the 12Z Euro from yesterday, okay? This came out directly after I uploaded my video yesterday, and I hated that I didn't get to show it, but I do want to show this to you because, buddy, is it fun to look at? Everybody's in Snowtown, baby. Baby. Can you guys tell I get excited about snow? All right, let's put this into motion here. Here's the 12Z Euro. Big storm breaking out for northeastern Missouri, north of St. Louis here. They're right on that rain snow line. From Springfield to Evansville, you guys are dealing with snow, and that's moving into Iowa as well. This is 10 p.m. on January 30th. Watch this break out into a very large shield of snow from North Carolina all the way up to Iowa here. This would be really interesting to see. You see this moisture's moving up into some dammed up cold air here, but it's also moving that warm air with it. So there is going to be a little warm bubble that forms in this part of the storm. So Kentucky, even though you're going to get some heavy snow on the front end, that quickly turns over to rain. And then thanks to the mountains and dynamic cooling, a little bit more snow breaks out down here in North Carolina and Virginia. And then we have a little bit of an energy transfer. A low pressure system is now in South Carolina that's going to try to move up the coast. Watch here. Boom. We've got a storm now just off the coast of Virginia Beach, dropping heavy snow across Delaware and Maryland. And then I move this forward and it doesn't really move. And I move it forward again and it doesn't really move. And I move it forward again and it finally moves. I mean, this is a very prolonged period of time for a storm to sit over the same place. And if this was to verify, you're talking about insane snow totals for areas of Northern Virginia, Maryland, and Delaware. And then that finally takes off and we've got a classic nor'easter for New York and the coastal portions of New England. And yeah, we would love to see it. Woo! Look at them snow totals, bub. Whoa. Look at that bullseye right there. Okay, so we've got a pretty good streak of snow from northern Missouri all the way into Ohio, moving into northeastern parts of Kentucky and western parts of West Virginia. And then when that storm really stalls out right here, it just dumps snow on Washington, D.C., northern Virginia, and then that does continue up the coast and drops a pretty good amount of snow for everybody in those big cities on the coast up there. So let's zoom in on that real quick and let's see what that looks like up close. All right, you know what to do. Screenshot this. You're going to want to keep this in your pocket. Oh my God, 36 inches. Just a big giant mountain of snow right here. You could be standing, you could start in Raleigh, North Carolina and just climb the mountain of snow, son. You look like a big volcano in the distance. That not really, but I mean, like, this would be a whole lot of snow to see for these people. And then all the way up the coast here, Delaware, a good portion of the state's going to get over a foot of snow according to this run. A lot of New Jersey, New York City winds. We got some pretty big totals in Rhode Island and southern Massachusetts as well, close to 20 inches. Boston still gets close to 20 inches. This would be a very, very fun storm to watch, and especially if this was to happen. Jesus Lord. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, Ryan, that's just one model run. Don't get my hopes up here. And I'm not telling you to get your hopes up. But anyways, let's take a look at the Canadian, a whole nother model. Let's put her into motion here. It looks very similar to the Euro. We've got our big storm here, big Midwest and Ohio Valley storm starting off here that pushes off to the east. We've got dynamic cooling in Virginia, and we have a little bit of an energy transfer here, just like on the Euro. A little bit further north though, and a little bit less intense. And then watch here, it dances, it stays right there. Watch, no move, no move, no move, no move. Once again, it's a little bit less intense. It's not as strong, and it's not going to put down those same amount of totals that we just saw, but it's showing the same thing. This is a very good signal to show, especially from the Canadian, which the Canadian has done very good this year with winter storms. So watch the progression here. This looks realistic. A lot of times what I do when I look at the weather models is I watch them like this, okay? And I'm like, does this look like something I've seen before? Have I ever seen a weather system move this way before? And if the answer is yes, then a lot of times I like the way it looks. Now, sometimes it'll show something that's like totally weird, and a lot of times it will eventually correct away from that. So this looks real to me. This looks like, weather systems that have happened in the past. So this is possible. There will be shifts in the track, but I think I say let's lock it in, son. We've got a storm coming. And the snow totals aren't as impressive, but they're still freaking awesome. We've still got that big swath of snow from Missouri all the way into Indiana, Ohio, down into West Virginia and Virginia, Delaware, New Jersey, New York. You guys get your snow. It does kind of fizzle out here and breaks up around Connecticut and Rhode Island, but it starts back up around Boston, points north and east. So yeah, the Canadian looks interesting. Does the GFS see it too? All right, let's take a look at the GFS. It's a little bit more north. We've got that giant swath of snow in the Ohio Valley and Great Lakes region, and that gets pushed off to the east. We've got heavy snow now in Maryland and Delaware. And what happens here? Do we have that energy transfer? We do. It's a little bit further east this time, which means that the snow is going to stay in a line north of that. We do have cold air advection, a lot of cold air coming down behind it. And we do have that stationary low pressure system. Look, it's not moving much, but it is way further north and east. Really, the dynamics behind this storm, if we want this to be a giant, crazy storm, like with big totals, since it's not very strong, we're gonna need that stalling of the low pressure system to actually happen. And the fact that all three of the models are now showing this is a very good sign that it probably will happen. Where that stalling happens is going to greatly affect who gets the most snow and who doesn't. So yeah, that moves on up, and it's out of here by February 3rd, and snow totals still look pretty good. I mean, the 30-inch range over here is kind of in a donut hole, but you still get some snow. Big old range from Chicago all the way over to Scranton, Pennsylvania with a ton of snow. Let's zoom in. Yeah, Chicago with 11 inches, Columbus with 7 inches, north of Cincinnati to the Ohio border. I mean, 8 inches is easy for you guys. Since we are going to have this motion, this downward motion like this, a lot of Indiana, northern and northwestern Indiana is going to get covered up with close to a foot of snow. And then as we look at the mid-Atlantic, Washington, D.C. still gets 6 inches. Delaware looks like more in that 3 to 4 inch range on this run. But look, Scranton, Pennsylvania is going to get a foot of snow. 17 inches on Long Island and New York City. State College, Pennsylvania is about 15 inches there. I'm getting excited. Are you guys getting excited? Now, I don't know what the exact track of this storm is going to be. I don't know who's going to be the winner here, but I do think we should lock it in and say that's definitely going to be a storm that we're going to be watching. But what's next? Is there any more down the pipeline? You betcha. Let's play the GFS on out. Here we are on February 4th, and already we have another big storm coming together. We've got a low pressure system on the border of Nebraska and Iowa, bringing heavy snow to South Dakota and Minnesota. And what happens with this is it pulls up some energy from down here in the Gulf, and we've got another system that gets together down here. And it's going to try to start up a severe weather scenario for Arkansas into Texas. And then on the backside of that, we have another big snowstorm for Missouri and Iowa. And yeah, this looks like a spring setup here with a big wave, lots of warm air coming up, lots of cold air behind it. Actually, look at this. The cold air, the 540 line goes all the way down into Mexico. This might be a little lobe of that polar vortex everybody's been talking about, and a sharp boundary right here with a lot of cold air advection. So definitely a severe weather threat there if this verifies. And then Chicago gets pummeled by snow. That moves on up into Canada. And then we've got a little bit of heavy snow on the front end of this, but that turns into rain very quickly for the coast. And it looks like another little kink in the wave starts to come up here. It's going to try to start another little storm that we'll have to keep an eye on. And then that really brings down the cold air into the eastern part of the United States, man. Is anything going to happen with that cold air? All we need is a disturbance, some Gulf moisture, and there it is. Wow. 378 hours out, fantasy blizzard. That's what we like to see. This would be a great storm from western Tennessee, western Kentucky, all the way up into Ohio. The low pressure system goes right up the Appalachian Mountains. And yeah, that would be cool to see. Let's see those total snowfall numbers. Woo! Basically what this tells us is that this area of the United States, we're in that active pattern, okay? It's coming. The snow is coming to you, okay? One of these areas is going to win big time, and we're going to see a very memorable snowstorm coming up through the middle part of February. Very fun, very interesting times that we're in. I'm so happy to be here with you guys and be able to talk to you guys through it. I so wish something like this existed when I was younger. I would have had the time of my life, being a part of a community full of people who are interested in the weather. So let's keep having fun, guys. Make sure you leave a comment down below letting me know what you think is going to happen with storm number 2. Also, if you live in the path of storm number 1 in Kentucky, Tennessee, West Virginia, North Carolina, and you get some snow, make sure you send me a picture on Twitter. I would love to show it here on the show. And of course, like this video, subscribe if you haven't already. And I think I'm going to end it here, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, we'll see you. Bye.